Sandra here. So out in the wild, you guys seem to love this vlogging style content. So I'm walking in the local park. So guys, training for a 5k, and guys, it's been really miserable in my part of the world, which is Darling Downs, for the past couple of days. So I haven't been doing as much exercise, and it's funny, once you get into like a solid supervised exercise routine, things really do improve. So guys, that's what I want to talk about today, is something that I know is going to be controversial in the disability community, but I think we really honestly do need to talk about that, is responsibility. So where does responsibility for care lie? So obviously with children with a disability, there's something called parental responsibility. I'm seeing a lot of TikTokers who are either social workers, therapeutic support workers, or early intervention specialists getting really worried about that. And guys, quite frankly, I can understand why. But then there's others who, the support workers who are crying out for a bit of change, saying that they're being essentially abused by parents and treated as the nanny. And this is something you definitely need to be aware of as a support worker, is where your boundaries lie, where the grey areas lie. And then if you have a physical disability and you're your own decision maker, obviously the responsibility for your care and your care decisions rests with you. If you've got a psychosocial disability, you guys are going to sit down for a while. It might be a guardian, trustee, a parent, or a sibling. So someone who, and there's different types of decision making. So there's the one that I'm under, which is supported decision making. So that's where anything over about $1,000, you have to get essentially permission. And I think that this is just good money management, about talking to people about pros and cons. Do you really need the product? Is there a cheaper alternative? Type of thing as well. Then there's obviously guardianship, where people are making decisions about your housing and your care for you. And that might be also your money management as well. And that one I know can be good or bad depending on if you're going through our public funded services that are quite frankly underfunded, or if you're going through a private solicitor, accountant, or friend or family who's able to separate the care relationship from having that relationship with you as well. But the one that I wanted to focus on is personal responsibility, because guys, this is something that I've realised is so important, and it's since I've made the decision in my own personal life that I am responsible for my own direction, that what I say online and offline does have consequences in the real world for not only me but for other people. It is huge. And so it started with the decision to go back to exercise physiology, physio, then check in with a nutritionist who asked me to not judge myself but to keep a food diary. But then when I realised how unbalanced my diet was, started seeking out recipe books, started seeking out support to cook. My family do what they call freezer meals. They get meal delivery services like HelloFresh and associated ones, and put some aside for me as well. So they know I'm getting nutrition as well. And then obviously I'm out walking, getting some sunshine today, as well. And that's where I am going to say something controversial. But I know a lot of my followers, I know I've only had one pushback with this one. So if you are higher functioning and are able to make your own decisions, you are in the driver's seat of your care and your care plan. I know so many support workers who have got called out in my housing facility for not reading the care plan, for not doing check-ins, for not doing the back-end work. So your notes, your tick and flick, your care plans are so important. They're wondering why they're not in the house as well. But at the same time, the office and the housing organisation needs to be able to trust their support workers. This is something I've said in a previous video, is something I remember from training I did when I was in pharmacy, is having the right people in the right role. So you might have people who are very, very officious as support workers, but put them in the office or the day centre, they're going to be brilliant at it, because what makes them officious as a support worker is going to make them absolutely amazing as an office person or coordinating the back end of the day centre. So I'm not saying running groups, because you're going to have the same issues, but I'm saying the coordinating the groups, the sign in, the sign out, the paperwork side of things. If you're doing cooking, ordering what you need. If you're doing craft, ordering what you need. If you're doing an art class or a study club or a science club, getting the educators in. If you're doing day trips, asking the local fire brigade if you can do a tour, seeking out places that are educational is huge. And I don't know where the responsibility kind of has shifted away from I am responsible for my own life, whether I've got a disability or not, to the NDIS needs to cover everything. It was never designed to cover everything. It was designed to fill in the gaps from state and Commonwealth funding. And I know that there's an argument to be made there. I'll let others cover that one as well. But this is where your informal supports come into things. So that's family, that's friends, that's siblings. It was supposed to take some of the burden off them, so they can be family, friends and siblings, but not all of the burden off them, not isolate them completely as well. And that's one of the things that I'm going to do a completely separate video on. This one is, if you've got a support worker you like, but they might be going through a rough time or maybe new to the industry, but you see the potential, how to essentially cover their asses without getting them into bad habits. Because guys, last night, because I'm doing the no TV challenge for a week, no screens, no TV, which for me has been hard, but at the same time I'm a bit of a bookworm as well. That, okay, well, if their phone is ringing and they're outside having a smoke, let them know that their phone is ringing. If they're doing an overnight, and I've read some of the support workers' contracts as well, because with my community and housing organisation, they give us a copy of the service agreement and the roles and responsibilities of a support worker and the roles and the responsibilities of a participant. Basically, so you're all clear and on the same page. It was saying about support worker must be appropriately dressed and in appropriate footwear. Notice footwear, it doesn't say shoes. So if they're coming in and doing a sleepover, slippers is appropriate footwear, obviously enclosed. So I'm not talking about the ones that squeak or novelty slippers. I'm talking about Ugg boots or slides or even the canvas shoes, because we're all in bed by about 8:39, So that can be a huge issue as well. For Christmas, I'm going to look on Facebook Marketplace and get like a set of shelving for the support workers to have their shoes and a change of clothes in. I always try to have some 2-minute noodles and white bread in the fridge for them. And not everyone can afford to do this, but it's definitely something that I try to do as well, because things happen. They might have kids sick, they might be working 2 jobs, they might be studying. The one thing that I do object to is that support workers online shopping and sending it to my house. That, to me, even if they're living rural, you can get it sent to the nearest post office. So guys, I've got permission to do a lot more of this vlogging style content, so there's going to be an ongoing series of looking at boutiques around Toowoomba, because guys, with me kind of resetting, I'm trying to move away from the big box stores. I know my grocery shopping, I'm kind of locked into Aldi, but for my Christmas gifts and birthday gifts coming up, well, we've got so much hidden gems around Toowoomba that can't afford to be promoted. So we're definitely going to look at them as well. Going to be a bit more logistics as well, asking their consent to film and XYZ. But especially if you're self-managed with NDIS, checking your line items and seeing what you can spend it on is a big thing. Because if you can get something, instead of getting at a big box store that's going to overcharge you, at a small boutique that's going to do the same job that's cheaper, guess which one of the NDIS is going to approve as well. So guys, if you can do me a favour, we're still at 90 subscribers. If you can like, share, subscribe, comment, really helps, guys. I'm hoping to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the month and 1,000 by Christmas. And that's a free way you can support the channel as well. So guys, I'm going to finish this walk and I'll see you guys in the next video.